Welcome to the Brain Picker Pro Show, live from Lake Wiley, South Carolina. I'm Larry Goins. Thanks for watching, guys. As you know, this is the show where I bring in other educators, other real estate people, people who are in the trenches doing deals, who know what they're doing. If they're on this show, they know what they're doing. They've been around the block. And my special guest today is a good friend. I've known him for, I don't know, maybe 15 years. It's been a long time. And this guy is the man, the legend, the myth. He's really good. He knows, he's got his finger on the pulse and knows what's working in marketing. This guy does more direct mail than anybody in the world, okay? I don't care if you own a chain of grocery stores, right? He does more direct mail than you, okay? Please give a warm welcome, my good friend, fellow mastermind member as well, Gary Boomershine. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, what an awesome warm welcome. Hey everybody, it's super excited to finally do this, Larry. We've been talking about me coming in and sharing what's working and content to your members, and I'm pumped up. I just got back from Tulum, Mexico, and another mastermind as well. So
Those guys are awesome, aren't they?
Oh, they really are. Actually, yeah, they're really good guys. 34 totally wired, centered entrepreneurs, mostly seven-figure. The wives actually came, and so there was a separate session for wives, and it was awesome, man. Life-changing experience. I'm pumped up to be here and do some good stuff for your people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool. Why don't you start out and tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about who is Gary Boomershine?
Yeah, awesome. I'll make this quick. My backstory, it's funny. You and I know you've been in real estate longer than me. I actually went full-time. I left, as my wife and I were just chatting about it, I had a 2-month-old daughter, a 4-year-old daughter, a $700,000 mortgage in California, and we went cold turkey into real estate. We burned the boats May 17th, 2004, man, and got a lot of lessons learned and a lot of, I spent a lot of time, it's not just what works, it's also what doesn't work, right?
Exactly.
And so my backstory, I'm from California, grew up in Silicon Valley. Actually grew up in a real estate family. My parents had a brokerage, and we were buying rental properties, and we were all, the negative side was we were all forced almost at gunpoint to get our real estate license. So 2 weeks after turning 18, by the way, I'm turning 50. So that gives you kind of back, that was 1987. I was a licensed realtor and held open houses, and that's how I actually helped pay for college, and absolutely hated it. I had no interest in doing being the realtor side. So I got a computer engineering degree and told my dad I was going down a different path, and it was awesome. I got recruited to one of the biggest technology consulting firms in the world called Accenture. And it was so awesome, man. I was working 90-hour weeks and being in the inside of buildings and never actually seeing sunlight, corporate world.
Yeah.
And then I got recruited to 4 technology startups, one that's now an $8 billion division of IBM. And man, there was no time for my wife. There was no time for my daughters. We were burnt out, and it was 2004 that we said, you know what, let's go back to our roots. Let's buy some apartments. And man, that started a whole journey of learning. And so I've bought and sold over 450 houses. I do a lot of private lending today. I'm a wholesaler. I do creative deals, and I do lending in 4 markets, including the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And more than anything, people know me for REIvault. I'll share a little bit about what that is. It's a small group. The idea came in a mastermind. Actually the same mastermind that you and I were part of, Collective Genius. And I'm like, man, we got some smart people. We're all doing the same thing. We're having to do direct mail. We're having to build a phone team. We're having to figure out the systems and this system and that system. I'm like, why don't we just build one team to do it for all of us? And so that company now has about 250 top performing investors and agents all over the country. We've done over 27 million pieces of direct mail. And I shared this with you right before we started. I just ran the math. In the last couple months, we've done over 244,000 outbound phone calls to sellers. not to buyers, just to sellers.
Yeah.
And actually turned a pretty good conversion rate. So learned a lot, and I'm here to share like what's working, and hopefully it helps a bunch of people that might have some stucks. And yeah, let's do it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do. But man, you are, I mean, you know what's working right now and you know what's not working right now. So why don't you just go ahead and jump in and share with our listeners and viewers what's going on?
Yeah. So let me say just right off the bat a couple of nuggets, just things that I've learned that I would, especially if you're, fairly new, even if you're 4 or 5 years into this business or you're running into any stucks. Number one is don't reinvent the wheel. Do not reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new under the sun in real estate. You want to go and find the person or the people that are doing and making money and really have the model like you, Larry, and replicate and get on board with them. And that's number one. Gosh, I lots of lessons learned in the early days, but it's like go out and find, like for instance, you actually gave me, I said, hey, Larry, I've got a stuck, and you connected me with the resource. Arshia, by the way, just started this morning. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
And then, be in mastermind groups. That would be number two. So let me just walk through what's working. This market right now, and you know this is probably one of the hottest markets I've ever seen. It's looking like 2006, 2007. There is so much money to be made, and it's part of the cycle. So you really, if you're in real estate, this is a really great time. Number two, this is an off-market market. That means you got to go direct to sellers. About 5 years ago, we were buying on the MLS, right? All the deal flow was bank-owned REOs and foreclosure auctions. And so that's where we went as long as you had money. But today, that's all saturated. Today, it's all off-market. So what does that mean? You got to go direct to the seller. And if you can control the deal flow, and the people out there that are controlling the deal flow of sellers are making a fortune, right? Just you and I chat about this in our mastermind.
Right.
So how do you do that? What's working right now? Direct mail. And I'm going to say, there's some keys to making direct mail work. And by the way, it's not just the mailing list, and it's not just the postcard or the little yellow, whatever it is. There's something else I'm going to share that will change the success of it. But it's direct mail, cold calling. Cold calling is crushing it right now, especially in some of the more competitive markets. I would tell everybody, if you get this thing right, you're making a lot of money. I'll walk through our results. The reason cold calling is working is most people are not doing it. And then, of course, you do have door knocking. You've got pay-per-click, buying ads, etc. But we want to talk about really marketing and cold calling. And another nugget I want to share is, I talk to so many real estate investors that I don't know whether they've been trained incorrectly, but the most important thing that you need to think about in marketing is what is the cost per deal? And then what is the profit per deal? So what does it cost in terms of marketing, right, to get a deal? And then let's say you're in Florida, and it costs you $2,500 to get a deal. That's conservatively, right? You spend $2,500 and you're making 20, right? You run the math. It's a 700%, a 7x ROI. So wholesaling right now, you and I know this. I know you share this, but typically wholesalers should be making between a 6 and 10x ROI off of marketing. That means you spend $1. Every dollar you spend, you should be making somewhere between $6 and $10 if you're doing it right. And so the reason I say that is mindset. So many investors get stuck in the muck, in quicksand, nickeling and diming on the cost of the list, and is it 3 cents or is it 50 cents or 30,000 if you're going to Chris Richter as an example. They get stuck on that. They get stuck on like the minute thing. It's costing them pennies and nickel. They're saving pennies and nickels when it's costing them $10 bills. So it's really the cost per deal and the profit per deal. And I'm going to walk through what's working and all that.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really good stuff. I've already got a page full of notes here. It's awesome stuff. I really like what you said about you know, because I've heard some people say, you know, you should get 4x your list, right? 4x your cost. But I'm thinking, man, that's kind of low. I've heard multiple people say that, and I'm so glad that you said 6 to 10 times, because I mean we're spending about $8,000 a month right now, right? Getting ready to bump that up to 12, right? We're mailing 25,000 pieces. We're getting ready to mail about 37.5, I believe. So, but we're doing, you know, 80 to $100,000 a month in income. So, or in assignments, I should say, as a wholesaler. So, man, your numbers are right on it. Everybody else, they're lowballing. They should be increasing their revenue, don't you think?
Absolutely. You know, every company in America, real company, right? Not just a one-person show, but every real company, they have a marketing team, right? They have a marketing budget. You spend marketing. It's typically, by the way, I'll just tell you, the national average for marketing, most companies budget 6 to 8% of their overall gross profit is in the marketing function. There is no real estate. Real estate has some of the, actually, I think it has the highest ROI on marketing. And so it's really important. Second thing, it's so funny that you said this. Clint Bartlett and Jeff Cohn, big hitters. These guys are out of Nebraska. They were down there with me. These guys are doing pretty high volume and signed up for REIvault. And they were walking me through their average cost per deal is $4,000 a deal in Nebraska. And we were talking with Clint. I love that guy. I'm like, hey, Clint, let me just tell you, the bar is so low for us to crush it for you. Let me just tell you, in Nebraska, you're looking at probably $700 to maybe $1,000 a deal. Worst case scenario, if you really suck on the sales side. And I see that. We have another guy, Will Hull. And he's been doing 15 deals a month, and it was the same thing. His average cost is $4,200 in an easy market, where we've got another guy, Clay Manship, who his cost per deal, he did over $2 million just off of direct mail and wholesale profits last year in Indianapolis. And his overall spend, by the way, is $7,000 a month. I think his cost per deal is like $300 a deal.
Oh my gosh.
So $300. Now, let me tell everybody, this is the biggest secret. I shouldn't even say a secret. It's so basic. But what is this difference? What do you have to have if you're doing direct mail or cold calling? There is one thing that's absolutely required, and it's also really important. It's not you. And that is a phone team that is working the leads, all right? It's what the function's called an inside sale, an ISA, an inside sales agent. So as the leads come in, one of the most profitable functions is a person that's actually calling, screening, following up, and scheduling an appointment. And we built that team, by the way. We built that over the last year and a half. I think it's like $2 an hour is what we charge for that team to actually do all the phone follow-up. We were able to do it because, I'll go into more detail, but the reason I say that is, here's what we're finding. We're finding that you have to dial the average seller, all right, to get a seller back on the phone. Once maybe they come in as a lead, it's averaging 10 dials, 10 times trying to get the seller back on the phone.
Back,
right?
After they called in.
Back on. That's right. They called, maybe left a message with Pat Live, maybe they left a voicemail, maybe it was a missed call, like a hang up. But getting them back on the phone, we're seeing it takes 10 dials in order to get them back on the phone. You want somebody kissing frogs all day long. And that is the difference. The guys and gals that are crushing it right now have a dedicated ISA. Okay, this is different. This is different than somebody that's answering the call live, right? A lead comes in. I'm talking about somebody that's working the leads and calling all day long. An average good phone person manually dialing can dial 100 to 125 seller dials a day. And if they're on an auto dialer, the way we do it, they can do about 250. You want somebody doing that all day long. I know that's in the weeds, but I'm just telling you, you get that right, you're making a lot of money. You know that. I mean, we've how many times at CG, it's like having a phone person doing the follow-up is key.
Absolutely. Man, I'm still taking notes. I got stuff in the margins now.
Here's so let me share a couple things. So you send out direct mail, and we can go into what list and what I'm finding that's working. It's really funny. One of the best postcards is one that Brad Chandler from Express Home Buyers that nobody's doing. It's fantastic. I'll share that with your group. And so we're getting a 4% response rate on a postcard where everybody else that's doing that pink doodle thing.
Right,
So you know
right.
what I'm talking about. I can show it to everybody. If you're doing it, you want to just switch to this one postcard. It'll crush it for you. But you send out the postcards. You really want to answer the calls live. We're seeing the best results if you've got somebody answering the calls live. We actually set that up for our members, and it's like, hey, you don't have to worry about it. The leads come in, and then there's going to be some low-hanging fruit, the ones that you close right off the bat.
Right.
But here's the reality. The reality is most of the money is coming in the leads and working as a follow-up. So for every one that you close, you're probably looking at 3 to 5 to 6 more deals. So you close one, easy one, you probably have another 6 to 8, deals off of the ones that maybe the seller said they're not interested. Those leads are gold, by the way, if they say they're not interested. You just have to wait 4 months and then start them up. Second thing is, you have the leads come in. It's really important to put them on a follow-up system where you're sending out text messages and ringless voicemail and then getting them over to the phone team. We automate all that. That's really important though, because this is across all industries that 80% of the profits come between the 5th and the 12th interaction with a seller. And most investors never follow up more than twice. So 80% of the profits. And so a lot of people, I hear this over and over again. They're like, I've done direct mail, it doesn't work, or my market's so competitive. And it's like, you know what? You're so close. You're 3 feet from gold. And do a couple of these things and boom. And all of a sudden they're starting.
Leads. Give me those leads.
So here's another thing. A misnomer for a lot of people. A lot of people are like, they're chasing the fairy dust, right? The shiny object people. They're trying to get the better list. They want the Glengarry leads, right? It's like, oh, I'm looking for this list or that list, or I'm looking for a better postcard. Let me just tell you, it's not that. The list is important, but here's what you need. All leads suck. You need to realize that and train your team. All leads suck. The seller, you have to have dialogue with the seller a few times to warm them up. So it's kind of like, you get a box. Think of leads as a box of gold. You got some rocks and you got some massively profitable pieces of gold, but they all look like rocks. You have to shine them up a little bit, brothers and sisters. So how do we do that? You bring the leads in, you close a few over the phone, easy. You then get everybody else into a text, ringless voicemail, by the way. Some people, not to go into the weeds, but we use Sly Broadcast. All it is it's a pre-recorded message that bypasses the person's phone and leaves them a voicemail, followed by following up and having somebody scheduling appointments for you. And that was really what we did with REIvault, is saying, hey, you know what? There's a lot of moving parts. Let's just do this for people and get them in front of sellers, right? Aren't real estate investors, didn't we want time and not having to have another job? It's like, we just that's why I go back, years ago. It's like, just get me in front of motivated sellers and let me close them. Right? I don't want to get stuck in talking about lists and in Infusionsoft or FreedomSoft or this soft or that soft, right? It's like everybody gets so stuck in the muck. The other thing is leverage. We learn about OPM, using other people's money, but there are things that are even more important. Leveraging other people's resources, leveraging other people's experience, leveraging other people's time, right? Cold calling is a $4 to $10 an hour function, right? So if you're doing that, realize you're making $4 to $10 an hour, right? Less than minimum wage. So that is where is the most money? Where should us real estate investors be spending our time? It should be in front of sellers, talking to the best sellers, making offers, and working with buyers and closing deals. Amen, brother?
That's exactly right, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's so true. We need to be on the phone or face to face.
Yeah. I've got a, let's see, I think you've disabled screen sharing. I wonder if you can do, I have a thing that I think would be really awesome to share with your group.
Okay. What do I need to do to allow you to share?
See if, do you have the little button that says share?
I do. I'm on it right now.
Okay. I think maybe unshare your screen. If not.
Let's see here. It's asking me to open my system preferences.
Okay. Do you edit that? Do you edit these, Larry?
I do have a guy that edits them, yes.
Okay. Because it might be worthwhile. If not, let's see how to share.
Hold on. Multiple participants can share.
Yeah.
It's sharing options. Here we go. Try this.
Awesome. Okay, here we go.
That work?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, here we go. So can you see that, Larry? Can
yes.
you and
yeah, we can absolutely see that.
You can, if you want, you can write this down. I know you'll have it in the show notes, but REIvault.com/brochure. So REIvault.com/brochure. This is really for off market. This is the funnel, right? This is the funnel. You have to do these things and get them all to work. And what comes out of the funnel is money. So the number one is you do marketing, right? You have to do marketing, which is things like direct mail, whether you're doing postcards, letters, maybe pay-per-click, Facebook ads, maybe you're doing cold calling. That is what is called marketing. Now you're going to notice on the left-hand side, these are $10 an hour functions, right? It's not, it's a huge amount of time and effort. Then you got the fulfillment. You got to figure out the mailing house, right? What mail house you're going to use, making sure that they don't screw it up. You got to make sure you got the right mailing list. You got to get it cleaned up. Then you got to make it consistent so that you're dropping mail every single week, right? If the marketing stops, your business stops. Then the third thing is you need a mousetrap. Those are the systems, and you want really simple systems. Some people use Podio or InvestorFuse. You also have CallRail or the whatever the phone system is, and Slide Broadcast. It's really the systems or the mousetrap that tracks all of the leads coming in.
Right.
And then you got sellers that are actually coming in. So you got to make sure that you've got the right person doing the inbound phone work, right? Taking the call live. It could be Live Answer, maybe it's Pat Live or Call Porter. I love them. Maybe it's a pre-recorded message, maybe it's a website. And then typically there's a little bit of research that could be done, usually automated if done properly. That's the way we do it. But being able to pull the property address, the comparables, right, of what's selling, having that information before you get on the phone with the seller makes you, lightning sharp. Your close rates are going to be a lot higher, right? And having that done, then you've got the outbound. This is what I was talking about of ISA. So this is the outbound phone team, because a lot of these leads, the money is in the follow-up. So some people call them lead processors. They have to be scripted, right? The right words at the right time to get a yes out of the seller. Somebody has to manage and train them, all the follow-ups and scheduling the appointment, right? So you as the investor, all you have to do is make sure that you're showing up or getting on the phone with a pre-screened, ready to go seller. Then the ones that don't close, we've got the follow-up drip system. That's keeping in front of the seller. Todd Toback, you remember Todd Toback came up with
I know him well.
Yeah, Todd came up with the no seller left behind concept. That is so brilliant.
I know, right?
Right? The money, there's so much money. Here's the reality. 1 in about 12 leads. 1 in 12 leads, specifically off of direct mail, typically should convert into a deal. And I see people that are like 1 in 80, right? And the reason is they've got everything working. They've got the right list. They got the right system. They're not doing any follow-up, and they don't have any follow-up text messages and things going out, okay? So this is typically what happens is most investors get stuck in the muck because they're doing all of this. And that's really where REIvault came in. And we just said, look, let's just have an expert team for the cost. It's like the team of 40 people for the cost of one, which means about $10 an hour. It's like, do you have $10 an hour? Is your time worth $10 an hour? We'll set up the system. We'll do it all for you. Done. And so
awesome.
I think this is good. You know, a lot of people, I want to use an analogy. Larry, everybody says, oh my gosh, Gary, that's either some of my concepts are either really great or some of them are really terrible. So you could tell me. But, you know, a restaurant, here's a restaurant. Imagine a restaurant where you've got the person that is taking the orders, right?
Right.
Is also the one cooking the food, right?
Right.
And then the same person's cooking the food, and then they're also doing the dishwashing and cleaning it up, right? Now, that's not a scalable business. So what you end up doing, it's really the leveraging of people, because you get massive. If you can take somebody at $10 an hour and you can actually turn that into a profit of $30,000, $15,000, right? That's huge leverage. That's more leverage. We get more leverage off of people than we do off of using other people's money. So a lot of people get stuck because they've been trained, oh, I'm going to do it all by myself. It's like, no, there's so much money, right? And a lot of people, that's where they're 3 feet from gold. So hopefully that's helped. A lot of people, they start out, and we all have to do it ourselves for the first 2 or 3 deals. Just like going back to the kitchen, it's like, hey, if you're doing the dishes and you're taking the orders and you're making the food, that's like mom and dad, right?
Right.
Is that scalable? Yeah, you can do a meal or 2 here and there, but if you're really trying to make money in this business, you really want to learn the art of people. And here it is. This comes from every corporate company. People first. It's people. You want to have good people, leverage on people. Number 2 is processes, and then third is simple systems. And a lot of investors get stuck making everything. So they work the system first, and they're putting a investor fuse, and they spend all their time on CRM, and they forget, oh my gosh, I actually am not making any money unless I'm talking to sellers and closing deals.
That's true. That's so true. That's what I spend my day doing.
Yeah.
Talking with people who are ready, willing, and able. Well, I don't know about willing yet, but
yeah, absolutely. So anyway, if you found this helpful, this is just a good reminder. It's reivault.com/brochure. Gosh, one other tool I want to give to everybody. This is I did this for our group because it really takes all the mystery out of the numbers. And I did it for a couple of masterminds. But there's a reivault.com/lead calculator. I'll put this on. I need to put a little bit more training, a training video. Right. But this is, if anybody, I don't know if you talk about traction or EOS on some of your calls.
Yeah, a lot of our followers do understand traction and Rocket Fuel, EOS. I recommend the book Traction. It's called Entrepreneurial Operating System, how to run your business. There you go. That's it.
This was a life changer for me. If you don't have this book, this is actually what got my life back, by the way. Terrible workaholic, working long hours. And it wasn't until, it was about 5 years ago that we truly implemented it. The reason I say that is this tool that I'm giving you will provide you it'll take all the mystery out of what we call the scorecard. And what I mean by that is you plug in your financial goal. Let's say you want to make 600,000. Let's say you want to make $1 million this year. Okay, you're going to plug in $1 million. Your profit per deal is really important. What's your average profit per deal? If you don't know, guess. So, like I'm in a market, Salt Lake City as an example is 22.5. California, I'm at 33,000, right, for my deals. It'll tell you, okay, the number of months to achieve the goal, and it'll show you the number of deals that you need to do. So you make 15,000, you want to do $1 million, that's 67 deals. All right. Cost per lead, you can leave this. This is typically about average $40 in order to generate a lead. A lead is a unique call. Seller comes in off a website. If they hit it 3 times, it's only, you got 1 lead, right? So what this does, and I don't want to go too far into the weeds, but this is really, a lot of people have given me feedback that this has been a lifesaver. but it shows you the number of deals you need to close per month and that profit, and it'll give you the marketing budget. It'll actually show you what your marketing budget's going to look like, and there's your 6.3x ROI, okay? And what your cost per deal is. And this is constantly changing based on the numbers that you're plugging in. And then there's a sales component of like, okay, how many contracts do you sign in order to get a deal? And then how many appointments do you actually, how many sellers do you typically have to talk to in order to get a contract? So it goes pretty much in the weeds, but it'll give you all of your scorecard metrics. It'll say you need to do this and make $1 million. You need 335 leads. You need to dial per month, okay, 335 leads. You need to dial, the phone needs to be dialed whether a seller picks up or not, 1,340 times. And you need to, somebody needs to talk to 268 sellers to schedule 34 appointments to get 8 contracts and bomb. And there's your profit. You know, profit per lead at $250, right? You spend $40, you get 250 back. Every phone dial, check this out. Every time somebody dials the phone, whether a seller answers or not, right now is worth $62.50. Right? When I go back to the importance of having a phone person, there it is. That's the gold mine.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
Cool.
I just went to that link. I've got 2 monitors up here as well. So I just went to that link, and man, it's just phenomenal. That's huge. I love that calculator. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I got a spreadsheet version of it. I'm going to post that, but you know, hopefully that helps. I need to put another. I'm actually doing a training video for today. So by the time that we actually have the podcast live, we should have another training video. But you know, if you need some help, we're happy to help you with this. If you want, we're REIvault.com. You can check us out, and our team can help. I think, you know, a lot of it is right. A lot of us are on. We don't have long runway. Some people, especially if you're fairly new, right? You don't have a long runway, and you really need to make this business work. And it's like, if you knew, I think of it like marketing is like a bank. Imagine that the bank was having a sale, and they said, hey, you bring as many dollar bills into the bank, and we're going to exchange them for a $5 bill, right? Pretty much a guarantee. So you spend it, you bring $1 in, and you get a $5 crisp bill. Wouldn't we be bringing in wheelbarrows of money?
Exactly.
So that's what we want to do as a business owner looking to scale our business. We want to take the uncertainty and have clarity around it, and then have the right people, and then the right processes and simple systems. I say simple because, oh my gosh, Javier, we've got a guy that he and his wife a year ago were working together, and they're now in 4 markets and have a monster team. I think they're grossing over $3.5 million this year in 1 year. Claymanship, same thing, super simple systems. He's in Indianapolis. He started 3 years ago. He's a young guy. I think he's actually just getting married, but started 3 years ago. He was a sales acquisition manager for somebody else, and his first year he made $155,000. The second year, $850,000. And then last year, 2018, he did over $2 million in wholesale profits alone in the Indianapolis market. He showed us our numbers. He actually did a webinar with our group showing like how he does it, and super simple. He's like, you know, he sends out the 2 campaigns, the 2 mail. So we do all of his direct mail. He spends about $7,000 a month. When he started, I think it was like $1,500. Right. And we worked with them. He started making money. It's like we're coaching him, saying, hey, scale up and scale up. So anyway, love that guy. But you know, you want to get it working and then scale up.
That's awesome. Who did you say that was in Indianapolis? Yeah,
Claymanship. Oh, he's actually on. I think there's at REIvault.com. There's actually a video of him. He actually did. It was really cool. We have a private Facebook group, and then all of a sudden, Claymanship actually went Claymanship Live right on Facebook Live and recorded an awesome video. And I'm like, Clay, can I post this? This is so like motivating, and I think this would really help a lot of other people around the country know that it's real and doable. And he's awesome. He's actually been helping. We've connected him. He's helped other people in REIvault. Part of our community of helping one another. So
that's great, man. That's great. I love it. I love it. You know, we go way back. I've known you for a long time, and you're always always on the cutting edge of technology, whatever it is to do with technology and systems and processes and procedures. I mean, you're a systems guy, right?
I am. You know, it's funny. I'm actually more of a sales guy. I'm really good building teams. I'm really good on processes, and I've got really good people. We have over 60 people on the team. It actually might be over 70 right now. A
Wow.
large, and actually multiple continents. A team that runs through walls. One of the things I'll tell you is our team is so committed to our members. And the success. It's really, that's the thing that I would say, if I'm really good at anything, I'm building really good people and processes and systems, and getting that to scale. I hear that over and over again. They're like, man, your people are, it's high touch, right? There's a lot of moving parts for doing direct mail. So REIvault, really, we're basically the staff. We become your extended team. So what happens is, hey, you're ready to scale. We're going to basically become part of your team, right? You don't have to train us. You don't have to manage us. You don't have to do anything. We're going to do that for you. We build a marketing plan. We're going to execute the marketing. We're going to set up the systems. We're going to teach you the things that you need to know. And then we're going to do all the phone follow-up if you want, and get you in front of sellers, and then work with you ongoing on how to scale. So we come up with a plan. We take all the mystery. We'll even predict what we believe your results are going to look like. And then we're going to look at it, and we're going to execute it. And then 4 weeks later after we start. So you're up and running within 7 days. By 10 days after signing up as a member, we got leads coming in, right? And then 4 weeks after that, we're jumping back on a phone and we're saying, hey, let's look at how things are working and what your actuals are. And then, how can we help? And we have office hours going on. There's the community of people interacting. It's really awesome. And it's, Sean Terry, by the way, was the one that recommended. I didn't know when I set this up, I didn't know how to charge for it. And Sean basically said, you remember, you were at CG.
Yeah.
Sean basically said, Gary, if you could do all of this, you could do all the marketing, execute the marketing, you could do all the follow-up and the systems, and you had the phone team, and you charged the cost of one VA at $10 an hour to do all of it. He goes, you'd have all the right people that you wanted. And so I did that, and we haven't changed it since. So it works out to about $10 an hour for the equivalent of a 40-person staff. We're not going to steal your pencils and drink your coffee because we're not sitting in your office.
Not going to call in sick.
Right. You don't have to manage anybody. It's really cool. You can focus on your business, and then we're connecting one another. We got Tyler and Jennifer Amburn. He was a pilot, full-time pilot, and his wife was a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. And he actually was able to finally quit his job. He went from 4 deals. We got him to 18 deals last year while he was part-time. And now he and his wife are going full-time, and we're helping him through that, and also connecting him with other people in our group that have done that too, right? Including my wife. My wife's actually going to get on the phone with Jennifer and give her some moral support, saying, hey, we've been there. They have a 3-month-old baby. So that's the value of the community and having like-minded people together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Gary, who is your ideal client? I mean, you can't be everything to everybody. Who is your ideal client that you say, man, I can help you?
Yeah, great point. Somebody that's actually done some deals, a couple of deals. They can be fairly new, but they have some experience. You really need to be trained and coached. Like, you need to come through Larry. If you're fairly new, we are an invite-only group. We're not a vendor. So we got 250 members. We'll probably take this up to 500, right? And so it's a small, tight group. There's semi-exclusivity, so we don't take everybody. Once we have a few people in one market, we don't take anybody else. And we're looking for people that are like-minded. They share our core values. You're teachable, and that there's a huge amount of accountability. You're trusting us to take on one of the most important functions, and we're trusting you that you're going to actually get in front of the sellers and close the deals, and you're going to do good things. So we want to make sure we got the right people, and also people that are ready to scale, man. They see marketing as an ROI, and they're like, hey, I've done a couple of deals, and I'm tired of this system and that system and this list and that list. It's like, yeah, let us take it over. We're experts. Oh, by the way, we guarantee the lowest cost mail. We guarantee that the mail going out through us is going to be the least expensive. That's a big one. Why? Because we're sending out like 1 million pieces a month, right? Do you think that we get a little negotiating power with the data providers? We've got 2 proprietary mailing lists that are really, really responsive. And if you have your own mailing list, you could provide that to us. And we clean it up, we manage it, we come up with a plan. You know, you're interacting with us, it's high touch, meaning if you send us an email or you're communicating, we're on it within 30 minutes. You're gonna get a response from us within 30 minutes saying, hey, we got it, we're addressing it. You know, you wanna add a zip code, change a zip code, need help, we're here for you. It really is, it's truly, you know, it's a partnership, man. Our average member's been with us for 27 months. I just checked that a couple of days ago. So people are with us the long haul. And if you've got a phone team already, we do have a version that works out to like $6 an hour, right? The equivalent. You don't have anybody working directly. You have an entire organization behind you and working with you. It's not like we're going to give you Sally over in Timbuktu that you've got to train and manage and hope that she's not working for somebody else. It's like we're experts. We're experts at getting your phone ringing. We're experts at systems, and we're expert, you know, getting you in front of sellers.
So whether or not I or anybody watching or listening, whether or not they're actually going to the house and closing them in person, or whether or not they're closing them over the phone, your people can set the lead and set the time for the business owner or your client to call them at that time and close them over the phone. And if they don't close them, they'll continue to follow up.
That's correct. The phone team will continue to follow up forever. The system will continue to interact and send them text messages and voicemails. It's all coordinated. We actually do use Podio. We provide, whether somebody else has their own system, that's fine too. But we are the largest user in the world of Podio. We actually had over 2 million transactions last month on GlobiFlow. So a lot of people, Podio is popular. I actually, Joe McCall was the one that actually told me about Podio about 5 years ago, and I'm like, let me just check this out. Everybody's talking Podio this, Podio that. Right. So we actually went and, you know, I've got a senior guy that used to work for Clorox, who heavy hitter who runs our Podio team, and it's pretty tricked out. But we give that away pretty much for free.
I've seen it. It's the bomb. I've never seen one that is in depth as it is. I mean, it was way over my head.
Yeah, and what's really cool is if we set this thing up, there are situations where you wouldn't even have to log into Podio. That we're actually just putting you and pushing over the appointment over to you that says, you know what, we're going to get the leads, we're going to manage the leads, we're going to follow up with leads, we're going to schedule the appointments, and oop, there comes the money. So, you know, now there is the capability. We do find there's about 2.5 hours of training videos, and also every single Wednesday we've got a live call for people for training, because I think really to maximize it, a little bit of training is necessary. But
I agree.
Yeah, but hopefully that's helpful. I do want to show you. Probably won't do it. I'll give it for your show notes. The postcard. Okay. There's a pink postcard, and there's a white postcard, and one that's getting 4x, meaning 4 times the results. So I'll give that to your group. You know, just say, hey, you're a loyal listener of Larry Goins, and now a friend of mine, and try it if you're doing it on your own, or hey, if you're interested, if you're really ready. There is no sales. You're not going to feel like there's any sales cycle calling us. You can go out to REIvault.com. There's a see if you qualify. You can schedule an appointment. You'll get on with a live person. It's ultimately going to be Julia Jordan, who herself has closed over 200 deals in Dallas. She's awesome. She's been with me for years. And she'd be on the phone, and it's like, hey, is this a good fit? We'll make sure that we answer all your questions. If it's a good fit, there's no long-term commitment. We do want you to commit for 90 days because there's a lot of moving parts to get it up and running.
Sure.
But and you'll definitely we speak straight, talk straight. That's the one thing we hear often. We're going to tell you what we know. We're going to be excellent at doing it for you. And if it's not a good fit, we're also going to say, hey, we don't think this is a fit yet. You need more coaching with Larry, and get a couple more deals across the goal line, and boom. This is a great partnership with Larry. If you're in his coaching program, man, we can definitely help.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, because we have a thing we call a partner program, and it's where I help them close their first 3 deals. Let's get your first 3 deals, and then you can start talking about scaling up, right?
Yeah.
So what type of budget do you see does somebody need to have to come in? I mean, you don't want somebody that says, oh, I got $200 a month.
Yeah,
great. That's
great.
not going to happen.
It's a great question. Now, I will tell you, it ranges by market, and we can help you with that. But if you're in the center part of the country, you're not in like a crazy market like Dallas, Phoenix, Denver, California. You're in, Nebraska. You're in Indiana, Minneapolis. Your cost per deal is probably, we're gonna recommend like a $1,500 a month budget to start. You can scale it up, scale it down, however you want. You can pause it. If you're in like Florida, you're in most of the kind of more hotter markets like
Right.
Florida, maybe Oregon, we're going to basically say, hey, we'd recommend a $2,500 budget. If you're in a super hot market, if you're in Dallas, Dallas is an example, we're going to say, hey, if you're not spending $6,000 a month to start, and you're not serious about it, right? If you're in Dallas, your profits are pretty, again, it works out to about 6x, right? Some really hard markets where people are they don't have their team, it might be a 4x. But anyway, typically 1,500 to 2,500 is our average member is spending right now on average over, they've been with us on average is 3,600 a month. We've got people that are spending 25 to 30,000, like Javier just scaled it up yesterday to 30,000 a month. So 30,000 a month in marketing. He started husband and wife. He's got a large team in 4 markets. They're crushing it. He actually got 7 deals in Dallas. I just heard that. I'm actually going to interview him on my podcast.
Awesome.
So hopefully this helps. I'll definitely give you the postcard. And yeah, if this seems like a fit, something you guys need, go to REIvault.com. Check us out. Definitely tell us that Larry Goins sent you. We are invite only. It's a kind of a quick qualifier. I know if it's like friends of mine and they're in your coaching program, or they're super experienced, then I would love to chat with you.
Right. That's awesome, man. This is really good stuff. I really appreciate you sharing all this. Tremendous amount of information. I got a whole full page of stuff down the sides on each side. It's really, really good stuff, man. I appreciate it. And as long as I've been doing real estate, these are notes, not questions that I wanted to ask you or things I wanted to talk about in the interview, but stuff I wanted to write down for me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I love being in the mastermind with you, man. It's really great to have people like you and Joe McCall and guys that were like-minded, right? We're entrepreneurs, we're growing businesses, we've also family people, and it's really cool to be around us. There's a lot of others, right? The riff out there, and so learned a lot from you, and definitely we'll definitely take care of any of your people that come on board REIvault. That's for sure.
That's great, man. Guys, you need to go to REIvault.com, and they've got a little, I don't know if you'd call it an application or just a little form to set up a demo, but you can let them know that I sent you, so it's a warm introduction, not just cold. And then that way, one of Gary's people will get on the phone with you, and they're all experienced people. I've known Gary for many, many years, and they're the real deal. So it's a great way. It's as close to done for you as you can get, right? Absolutely. Gary, buddy, I really appreciate you being on. This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother. Great. And great being with all of you. Have a great one.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. And guys, please, if you enjoy this, please share it. Please leave us a comment, leave us some feedback, and please share this. We really, really, Really appreciate it. So thank you so much, everybody. Take care, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Gary.